Okay, so I'm going to try to capture my screen and walk you through this. I'm going to try to make it short and oh man, that was a real whistle. Short and simple. What you want to do is you want to launch Game Capture HD, as we were talking about earlier. It's the software for the Elgato capture card, and what you want to do is you want to go into this gear icon over here and the settings wheel, and what you're gonna change is you're gonna make sure you have the proper input device. Now for me, I'm gonna get rid of the webcam and the web frame. I don't need that right now. I have it on PC because I'm playing on PC, so that's the input device that I have. Now you're on Xbox, you're gonna change it to Xbox One. Now make sure that the audio input is HDMI. You don't want to choose your microphone or your headset. Make sure it's HDMI. So I prefer standard. It comes as expanded, but I prefer standard because standard is darker. For some reason, expanded looked washed out, so I don't like that. You can you can try it, you can see what you like, but I like standard, and I normally have the profile as 1080p. I would recommend to start with 1080p, and if you're still having some lag issues or stuttering, then you can go down to 720p. It's up to you. Just fiddle with it. You have to find what works good for you. Now, for example, the quality here, you can put it all the way up to best if you want, but I don't really see that big of a difference, and I don't know how much of a performance hit it will do. So I normally leave it at better or slightly below. I pretty much leave it at default. So afterwards, what you want to do is you want to hit OK. Hit OK and save that. Now, also what you can do is you can change the game audio volume, and I have it at 100. I have it on 100, and then I change it in game. I normally lower in game or on the bottom of the screen of for the desktop audio in Streamlabs OBS. That's normally where I fiddle with the volume, is I change it there. But here you can change it to 100, you can go down to 50, you can go to wherever you want. Now also what can be helpful is the Elgato sound capture. I have it for PC gaming because I wanted to hear my games, and I wanted to hear my voice and my Discord chat. So for me, PC gaming works. For you, you may want team chat. You may not need this at all. You're getting audio from both your friends chatting and from you, so you should be fine with your voice. But if you have any problems, you can also download the sound capture as well and fiddle with that. So now that you have that set, you don't necessarily need this software running in the background when you have Streamlabs OBS running. You don't really need it per se, but if you're having problems, I would recommend to have this running in the background to at least try it and see if it helps. But what you want to make sure is you want to make sure you launch Streamlabs OBS first. Launch Streamlabs OBS first so it identifies the capture card, because if you launch the Elgato software first, it's going to recognize the capture card, and it's going to use that, which means that the Streamlabs won't be able to find it, to locate it. So you can try running this in the background to see if it fixes any problems, but in reality you don't really have to after you at least get these settings configured. Once you get these settings configured, you don't really need to have it running in the background, but you can at least try different things and see what works for you. So once you get that configured, you should be good to go with this Elgato software. Now, with Streamlabs, on the other hand, it sounds like you have everything configured, but I just want to walk it through just to make sure. I am going to switch over to, I'm gonna display the Elgato real quick. I'm just changing it just real quick so I can show you how I have it. So this is picking up the monitor of my gaming computer, because I don't think I can pick up Streamlabs on my recording computer right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the settings and just walk through some of the settings that I think are very important. You probably already know this since you're streaming with Streamlabs OBS, but I just wanted to walk through the things that I use that are very, very helpful. Now, for example, you want to make sure that you have your stream key and all that, all that. When you go to output, make sure output is on advanced. Make sure you go to the advanced tab right here, and you want to make sure you choose the proper encoder. Now, some of your stuttering and lag that you're getting may be because you have the wrong encoder. If you have a better graphics card, then you may want to choose to use NVNC, which is using your GPU, your graphics card, and not the CPU. Because just because you have a capture card does not mean that the capture card is rendering your stream. It's basically capturing your gameplay, putting it to the computer, and your computer is still technically doing the rendering. Now, if you were to stream through Elgato software, the Elgato software would do maybe more of the rendering, and it still is doing some, but in reality, it's your PC that's doing the rendering. So if you have a better GPU, you want to change it to NVENC. I have a better CPU because I have an FX 8320 by AMD, and it's an 8-core processor. It's about 11 years old. It's pretty outdated, but it's getting the job done. So I have a better CPU, so I go to X264. Play with it. See what works for you with that. Now, your bit rate on my streaming computer, I have 3000. This was what I used to stream on. So I used to do it at 2500. I have it at 3000, and it all depends on your upload speed. My upload speed is 11 megabytes per second. Not too good, but I try to keep a buffer. I don't want to do 10. I don't want to do 8 or 10,000, because 1,000 is 1 megabyte per second, if that makes sense. So for example, 3000 bitrate would be 3 megabytes per second upload speed. That gives me a huge buffer between what I'm streaming at 3 and what my internet is allowing at 11 megabytes per second. And if someone turns Netflix or Hulu on, I don't have any problems. And that's why I have it lower. And another benefit of having lower is the fact that more people can watch your stream. I get a lot of people desktop, Xbox, and mobile, and it makes it easier for mobile people to watch your stream if you're at a lower bit rate. So if you're having stuttering and you're having some problems with your stream, play with the bit rate, lower it. I think standard is 2500, so you most likely are at 2500 already, but just play with that. And don't take just my advice. Go on other YouTube videos. Look at other YouTube videos and see what they recommend and play with it. See what works for your hardware, because everyone's hardware is different. So you're gonna want to fiddle with that and fiddle with the encoder, and then also you want to fiddle with the CPU usage. The higher the preset, as it says, the less CPU is going to be used. Now, what I have it at is very fast, and for me, my CPU is being probably 30 to about 40% usage. I'm sorry, just had some pizza earlier. Anyway, my CPU usage is about 30 to 40% when I'm streaming. So higher it is, the less CPU. Be a little bit blurry. Not too bad, but a little bit. The lower that you put it, now if you put it on slow or very slow, it'll be very clear, but very high CPU usage, which means that you're going to be getting a lot of stuttering and a lot of lag. So I would start out at least fast to very fast. If you want, you can try super fast. I leave it at very fast, and it's been working pretty well. Me personally, I may change this to super fast, just because just because the fact that I am having some problems with here, I'll get rid of the webcam. I'm having some problems with CPU usage. I'm about 30 or 40%, which is still fine, but if I were to lower it, I would be getting better. So I'm a little tempted to try it and go up to super fast, but very fast has been working. So those are the 3 things that I would recommend to check out on Streamlabs OBS. And then make sure you have the Elgato software configured correctly. And then also what you want to do is make sure that your video base canvas up here is what you have out of the Elgato software. Like for example, when you go to that gear setting in the Elgato software, what you want to make sure is that if your profile for the Elgato software, say 1080 doesn't work and you move it down to 720p, you need to change it here as well. You want to change it then down to 720p, because if you don't, there's going to be some conflicting issues between the softwares, and you may get some lag, you may get some stutter. So make sure that if you're having problems with the Elgato software at 1080p, like I recommend to use at the beginning of the video, and you decide to change it to 720p, make sure you do the same here. Make sure you change that to 720p here as well. Now your output resolution, this is what they're going to see on the stream, and you have it at 720p because that's what I'm able to view your video at. So you're good with that. Now with the downscale filter, this can play an important role as well. Now for me personally, I have it as at the fastest because I'm using a dedicated computer for the rendering, for the streaming, and it sounds like you are too, since you're playing on Xbox One. So for example, I have it at, I don't know how you pronounce it, but I have it, this is the quickest, this is the smoothest. If you're having lag or stuttering problems, which it seems like you are every once in a while, not always, but every once in a while, I would recommend trying bicubic or bilinear. I would probably go bilinear first. That's the one that I would recommend first if you're having problems. Now, if that doesn't work, then I would go to bicubic. Fiddle with these. See which one works the best for you. This is one that works the best for me, but fiddle with it, see which one works. And I always recommend 60 FPS because it's a smoother stream than 720p. I'm sorry, instead of 30 FPS. I recommend 60 FPS all the time, maybe just because people that play on PC, they prefer 60 FPS or more. That can be a preference, but a lot of people recommend it at least 60. So I would say play around with these settings and see which works for you the best. Now, for example, this is what works for me. It may not work for you, but play with the settings. Go on YouTube, find what can work for your hardware. Because if you have an old pre-built computer, say a Dell Optiplex or something that you get from a university, your CPU is probably going to be better than your GPU, and the computer may be too outdated that it can't really handle Streamlabs OBS. Because if you go to Streamlabs OBS website and also Elgato's website, they show you the recommended hardware. And if you don't have the recommended hardware in your computer, then you may be having some lag and stuttering issues. So hopefully this helps you, but I still really encourage you to dig on YouTube for other settings. And now if you change all these settings to what I was recommending and it works, fantastic. You don't have to worry about going on to YouTube more. But if it doesn't, or you want it to work slightly better, I recommend YouTube, because for me, I'm kind of a person that I always want to make improvements. So if something's working, I will keep it, but I'll still in the back of my mind look at ways to improve it. So that's just what I would recommend. But anyway, hopefully this helps you. If you have any questions, let me know in your Discord server or my Discord or on Twitter. I know this was kind of a lengthy explanation, but I just wanted to make sure that you have both Streamlabs OBS set up properly, because if it's not set up properly, you could be getting lag and stuttering. And also I wanted to make sure that you had the Elgato software set up properly. Now for me personally, I think your issue is that your Elgato capture card could be overheating. It's either that it's overheated once before and there's some hardware damage, or it's just getting overheated as you're using it, because the symptoms that you're getting with your capture card is what I used to get with my old capture card before I got a new one. Now that capture card I got like 3 years ago, and it lasted me about 3 years when I was streaming over on YouTube. So the symptoms that you're getting seem like your capture card is going. I hopefully that's not the case, because getting a new capture card is expensive, but you can always get used ones off of eBay. I bought both of mine off of eBay used for a fraction of the price, probably around 50% cheaper than getting it for full retail. But anyway, that's what I think you're having problems with, is your capture card. But play with these settings, see if it helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But anyway, hopefully this works for you, and have a good one, man.